What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the TRCBY show. Today we're doing something a little bit different, but it is still related to 100 Souls because that is our main game at the moment. So, I've been chatting it up with Agus Message or Agus MSG. I'm not sure how you would enunciate it. I'm guessing it's like Agus, Agus MSG or Agus Message. One of the other. So, we were going back and forth about different emulators like Nox, LD Player, and BlueStacks. So he gave a really good suggestion, like right over here, where let me just show that comment here, which I think is like pretty helpful. So let's go into here. It's yeah, the bloody black terrain all over the stages and everything like that. So if you guys don't know, I've been having some issues, and apparently other people have been having issues as well too. So this is relating to playing 100 Souls on either BlueStacks, Nox, or LD Player. So let's go to one of those over here, somewhere over here. So right here, he stated that he literally tried everything, like BlueStacks 4. I'm on BlueStacks 5. I used to use BlueStacks 4, but now I'm just on 5. But Nox, LD Player. So BlueStacks 4, black terrain issue, random freezes, crash. For me, when I was using like all of my other, I guess like the latest 2 or 3 videos, those were on BlueStack 5. Everything else was on BlueStack 4. And I've been having issues with it, with, what is it, like crashing in Guild War, exactly just like, I guess MSG as well too, and I've also had, like, random crashes all over the place as well too. So my default setting has always been 4 core, 4 megs of RAM, and that hasn't changed since I started playing and started using BlueStacks along with LD Player. But this little message right over here is like, oh, hey, maybe just tweak the RAM and tweak the core. Perhaps you'll get, better results. So over here, you say that, what is this? Nox used like 2 megs of RAM, the closest thing. And it just like kind of sparked an idea for me as well too. So I wanted to share this with you guys because this particular setting on LD Player, just LD Player right here, 2 cores, 2048, and automatically expands when there is not enough space. That was the only thing I changed from the 4 and the 4. Ooh, hey now, that's not what we wanted. No sorry, Bobby. We're gonna switch that right back to cancel that. I'll cancel that right away because we just got it working. So it was under here, 2 cores, 2048 megs. So that was working fine for us. So I want to show you guys. I'm going to use the Advent worm as a example. So let's load it up real quick. Okay, just to I guess have everybody aware, this is LD Player version 4.0.56, and like we were just showing you guys before, my settings for that was, all I did was change everything down to 2. So 2 cores, 2048, that was it. I left everything else as defaulted, aside from my my 2K monitor resolution, which is the 2560 1440. But that was it. So this is the version that we have right now, 4.0.56. So we're just going to log in to the game now, and again, I just want to use the what is it, the Advent worm as a map example, because that was one of the maps that is, I guess, the most used one for me at the moment, because I have the worm, my Bargoth, and then Nargle or Nurgle that we want to keep combating. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna go into a random map. So I know that, like, what is it, the that Ice Yeti, the Yeti, the frozen Yeti, whatever the Yeti is, that map doesn't have an issue. That map is very similar to the Minotaur. So the what is it, chapter 8, right? The devil of the whatever. So the Minotaur, which is like a pain in the butt. So we're just gonna use this. We're just gonna drop off somebody. So unequip you. So we're just gonna join just for the sake of joining, just to see the map. And something else that I thought was very interesting, your character, your team setup is, yeah, it's user side saved. It's not on like the server side. Check this out. 2 and 2. I now have terrain. And like I honestly thought it was the camera angle, which it still could be, because the camera angle is kind of funky monkey. So it's a possibility. So we're just gonna pause it right there, but check that out. We now have terrain over here. So I'm just gonna abandon the battle. I kind of want to show you what the difference is. So let me just log off of this, and then we're gonna change the setting. We're gonna go back into it after it restarts, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So let's go out and exit this. So I'm gonna cut into that. Alright, so now that you guys saw the terrain, I'm gonna bump it up to 4 again. So which is the recommended. So I'm gonna we're gonna save it as 2 and 4. So that way there's only one variable that is being changed, and it's the RAM from 2 to 4. So I'm gonna save. I'm going to do a restart. So now it is restarting. Then I'll cut into the game as well too. So once we do that, all right. So we're logging back into LD Player, and all we changed was core. We kept it as 2 cores, but the RAM we bumped it up to 4. So we're just going to still use the Advent Worm as our testing ground. So we're just going to close this off. I thought I clicked on that, maybe on the other one, but we go right back to the worm, the primal worm right here. We're just going to jump right in here, because all we care about is taking a look at the map and seeing what the RAM allocation does to the game. And let's see. Oh snap! Very interesting. Maybe it's the core count. Let's do a pause on that real quick. Holy guacamole. Alright, so I'm gonna just leave this real quick. I'm abandoning the battle. Let's skip it on out over here. Let's go to, I'm gonna have to change up the camera view again. Alright, so we're gonna go into our settings. We're gonna change this up to 4 and 4. I'm gonna save it. It's gonna restart. And then we're gonna, I guess, do it all over again. I'm gonna cut into that once we get into the game. Alright, so now we're back in LD Player, 100 souls. We loaded up with 4 and 4. Because literally, right before I did anything, I just went into it as is, and I had the black terrain. I think. Or was it just crashing, wasn't loading at all? I don't remember. But LD Player I chose as my second backup, so BlueStack was my primary for recording. Sorry, let's go back. There you go. Crashes with 4 and 4. So I'm sure you guys saw some of those crash videos where the crash was real. I'm thinking it's because some of this particular setup. So it's got to do with like the core count and the RAM that is conflicting somewhere. So far the sweet spot that we found was 2 cores and at least booted up with 2 RAMs. So let's go ahead and yeah, try that again. So we're just going to change that up. I'm just going to switch the camera view to show you guys. Alright, and then go to our settings. We're going to drop it back down to 2 and 2. And hit save, restart, and then I'll cut into once we get back into the game. Alright, so we made it to the login screen with just 2 and 2 with LD Player. Alright, let's go back and get in. So we know that 4 and 4 cores and 4 megs of RAM crashed out. So that is very interesting because I benched LD Player because it kept on crashing. Legit, no joke. Anytime I clicked on anything, it just crashed. So this is giving some new life, I guess, potential to LD Player, because LD Player, I feel like it is smoother when it is working though. I like the look of the LD Player. Everything seems to, it just feels a little bit smoother than BlueStacks. So let's go back to the Primal Worm. So we should not have any terrain issues, and it loaded up just fine, so it did not crash. So we're gonna do it one more time. We had a little start over there, which is fine. So we're just gonna do this one more time with the 4 and 4. We just want to confirm that it wasn't a fluke. So we're just gonna abandon battle, and then we're going to close it out. I guess we didn't need to abandon the battle. Closing it out works just fine. So I'm going to switch the display view to here, and then go into here because it doesn't capture the sub windows. So go into settings. We're going to switch it back to, because the 4 megs of RAM with 2 cores. 4 megs of RAM with 2 cores. So okay, so the 2 core 4 megs of RAM, that loaded up. That did not crash. So let's just take a look at the core count. Let's keep it at 2 megs of RAM and 4 cores. So let's see what happens, and then we're gonna restart. So yeah, this isn't that exciting of a video, but I'm hoping the troubleshooting and at least the effort will save you guys some time if you just want to jump around and just give it a go. But like, again, just the quick answer that I found for LD Player version 4.0.56 is just changed it to 2.2. At least the game did not crash. So we're just gonna switch up the view, and I'll come right back once we load up the game. Alright, so we're back in, and I believe let's just double check what we've got here. This is a 4 core 2 megs of RAM. Let's see if there's any crashing issues. We do know that the 4 and 4 combination, which is the recommended, crashes. So let's go back into our Advent Worm and just take a look. So, and then we also want to try to repeat the crash with the 4 and 4 as well too. So let's go back in here. Let's go to the Advent Worm. Let's go to prepare for battle. Let's just jump right in there. Let's see if we get a crashy crash. Hopefully not. Okay. So we're gonna do a little bit and see what happens. It is a little bit smoother, I would say. So it is playing alright. Maybe the core count would be okay to increase. Alright, so now we're just gonna, I don't want to kill him because, you know, I just want to use this as a staging ground. So let's go ahead. I don't know why I keep on not banning battle. Don't really need to, but again, it gives it a little bit more of that test to see if it will crash in those circumstances. So we're able to go back and forth. The battling, unfortunately, I already did my arena because I know that arena and or guild war sucks. It always crashes. So right now we have 4 cores and 2 of our megs of RAM. Let's see if we could pick another random place. So I think I was working on either an armor, perhaps, maybe this armor, and this is just the Venomous Bee Killer. Sure, let's go ahead and give that a try. We're just going to go in. We're just looking at the map, because I also remember that this particular map was bugging out. So let's see Okay, so we're able to get in here. So, alright. We're able to do our thing. And just a whoop, boop, 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 boop. Alright, so far, no crashes. So the RAM allocation or RAM like amount could be the major issue for us. So I'm kind of just like, bopping around because I want to see if it'll spontaneously crash somewhere. So it seems like it's not too bad, like it's working the way it should be. So it seems like it is working the way that it should be, but again, we don't know until we have like a much longer duration of a test period. But these are just really quick flips, and I just want to see, ooh, I really do need to do these guys. Chapter 9, Jungle of the Deep, because these guys were hard for me, so I need to clear those conquests. Alright, so this is the 4 and the 2. So 4 cores, 2 megs of RAM. So let's close it out, and then we're going to change it up. So I'm just changing the view to show you guys that I'm changing that up as well too. So go into the setting. So 4 and 2 works. And now we just want to double check the recommend and the recommend. So the 4 and 4, will that crash it out once again? So let's take a look. So let's hit save. Going to restart because we want to make sure that we are able to replicate the issue, right? So let me just flip it over to BlueStacks over here, and then we'll get back into the game, save you a few seconds. Alright, so 4 at least load up to the screen, so the start screen. So let's take a look to see if it does the same thing that it did last time, was the crash. So we're still gonna keep our variable as similar as possible. So we're gonna go right back to the Advent worm and see what happens. Close that off, go to battle, go to the primal Advent worm, and see what happens. Again, it's either a hit or miss sometimes with these, and I've noticed that with like Guild War as well too. So sometimes I'll get in, sometimes I won't. This could be one of those times that I do get in. Alright, so let's see if it will crash or not. Let's go ahead and do our thing a little bit. We don't know, but right now the 4 and 4 is okay. I don't want to kill you. I'm just gonna move around here. Maybe I shouldn't have used the bleed set for the worm. Alright, so that's very interesting. So right now I am able to not crash. Let's go back to another one then. Let's go to pause. Abandon the battle. But again, these could be random crash. The random crash could have just, happened to have been at the 4 and 4. Maybe everything crashes. Let's go back to our armor. Let's just click on here. Go to our venomous bee killer. Let's see what happens. So we're just checking it out, just going through the steps. Okay, so it did not crash loading into here, so that's good. I mean, it's always good that it doesn't crash, but we want stability. We don't want things to crash on us when we spent like this, like these type of fights. If we spend, again, I'm not the most geared, and you guys know I put in a lot of effort into trying to figure out or using the equipments that I have. I go into a lot of these fights like super under geared, and my battles are just super long, and it would just absolutely suck if we didn't have that stability where we're like 10 minutes in even, and then it crashes, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, we were either halfway there or getting close to killing it. It's brutal. It sucks. So that's very interesting. So last time we did a 4 and 4 and it crashed on us, and that wasn't cool. So we try to replicate it by doing a 4 and 4 again. So let's see. So right now it seems to be stable enough to go into 2 places, but again, we just don't know. We honestly don't know why it crashes on us the way it does. And it's like, it's super sucky to just say, oh, well, it's just random crashes. There's got to be more to it. Alright, so, but we do know, at the very least, 2 and 2 seem stable. We had 1 crash so far with a 4 and 4. And so that is, at least gives us some indication. And we're trying to repeat the crash on the 4 and 4 at the moment. So, but then we're going to move into BlueStacks. So I'm just going to pause out of here, go out, and leave over here, go back to the home base. And what if I did not the force, not the event? Let's see, what about the challenge? Let's see if that'll crash anything. I'm just going in here. I don't think it's gonna. There you go. That's a 4 and 4. So, oh, that's something good to check out. So, Equinus is, it crashed on us on 4 and 4. So that is very interesting. Let's go back out because we got kicked out, but we're gonna give this a go. I'm gonna switch up the camera view to here, and then we're gonna go into a 2 and 2. Or you know what? Let's take a look at the settings again. So this is 4 and 4. We're gonna use this opportunity to go right back into it and see what happens. So I'm going to switch back out again on the here. Just click on that. Alright, let's go back into the game. I'll save you guys a few seconds once we get back to the loading screen. Alright, so that was a no-go for Equinus with the 4 and 4. So we're just going to try it again and see what happens, because I do know that sometimes I get the repeat crashes all the time for the arena, no matter what. It's just crash, crash, crash. So that is good that we found a trigger for it. Bad that it crashes, but good because potentially if we switch down to a 2 and 2, perhaps we won't have that issue if it's a continuous repeat, which I'm kind of hoping it is. Like, there you go. So the 4 and 4 doesn't seem like it's working so well. So let's switch it up again, switching this up, that way you guys see this. Just changing up on the settings, go to 2 and go to 2 and hit save, and then we're gonna restart. Alright, so once we are restarting, I'm going to save you a few seconds to get into my login screen and switch up the camera. Alright, so we are back in LD Player with the 2 and 2 this time. So we do know that in 4 and 4, that's 4 cores and 4 megs of RAM, Equinus crashes 100 souls. And we also got some random crash before as well too. We weren't able to reproduce it in the same manner that it kicked us out the first time, but it's a random crash. We're going to chalk it up to a random crash. But the Immortal Equinus crashed on 4 and 4. Let's see if it'll crash on 2 and 2, or if it'll load. And again, I'm just going to go right into it because we really care about if it loads or not. So once it loads, most of the time you should be good. You still have a chance of crashing midway, but this is very interesting. Just switching that up, like downgrading it essentially from a 4 and 4, which is the recommended, to the half, 2 and 2. We got this. We're able to at least get in. And it's like, seriously? Because we did 2 times in a row, we failed at it, and I just wanted to save a little bit of time. But like, anyways, that we're able to at least get in it. So yeah, and the terrain looks fine, so that's all good and all. So that's not too bad. All right, so we solved that at the very least for LD Player. So I am going to do BlueStacks. So this may be a longer video than I wanted to do or to be, but I want to share with you guys the discussion that we were having and also the solution, or at least the fix for the time being, of not crashing so much. Maybe there is a magic customized number instead that you guys found that works best. Maybe 4 cores and just 2 megs of RAM, or maybe 8 cores. I don't know, but whatever works, like, or doesn't work, feel free to share with us, because I guess we're just one community just trying to play the game and having a good time. But let's jump into BlueStacks. So I'm gonna stop the recording and then come back to Blue. Alright, so we're kind of back here. So this is BlueStack. So this BlueStack, I currently just switched it up from a 2-core to a 2-core memory allocation as well too. Very similar to the LD player, but there was still this graphic bugginess. So this is my graphic setting. I kept everything to the left, essentially. Compatibility, OpenGL, OpenGL. So I want to show you that this. So I'm going to save you a few seconds while I switch this up to this screen over here. This screen over here, and then a few more seconds. Yeah, click on that. Alright, so we're back in BlueStack. This is BlueStack5 version 5.0.110.1001. It's like the first of it. So we switched our core to 2, makes a RAM to 2, and then also all things OpenGL. So let's go into, we're going to test 2 or 3 things now with the 2, and then we're going to convert it back to the 4 megs of RAM. Perhaps for BlueStack it may be a little bit different. So check this out. So as you guys can see, I am rocking a different suit essentially. So let's go back to the battle, go back to the Advent Primal Worm. We just want to make sure that you know, it kind of works. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So there you go. Let's start that up. Hopefully it doesn't crash because of the resizing of it. I'm hoping that it doesn't. So, but I was super amazed that I have floor. It's no longer just a black mat. So this was super big. This was huge for me. Like with BlueStack, like, whoa, I see the floor instead of having nothing. So there's terrain with the 2 and 2. So again, the RAM may be the issue here. I'm thinking, because let's get out of it, and we're gonna go into the Aquinas or Aquinas and see what happens. So we do know it bugs out over here. So it definitely bugged out with the 4 and 4 for LD Player. Perhaps that is the same thing. So we are currently on 2 and 2. So hopefully we could just get right into it and all would be well. But again, this is the test. LD Player and BlueStacks. Perhaps the 2 and 2 combination works best for either or. But the slight tweak difference with BlueStack is I have all things OpenGL. So perhaps that could also be it as well too. So there you go, we got in, no issues at the moment. So now we're going to do a little bit of testing. So I'm just going to stop right here, abandon the battle, and then we're going to mess around and tweak it a little bit like we did last time. So let's go ahead and give that a go. So if I go, not here, close this off, that's silly. Where is the closing off? So go to the home. Oh yeah, so they changed it up a little bit, so it looks a little bit different. So click on there, close that off. Let's see if the sub window shows up. It does not. So let's change that view to display capture. Alright, so performance 2 and 2, 60 and the graphics. So what happens if you change any one of them? That's just like a very good question. There's a lot of variables. So we have the 2 and 2, like for the core and the RAM. So I believe I did DirectX last time. Let's just do this, DirectX, and leave everything the same, I guess. Maybe. What happens here? I don't know. DirectX, and then not really sure what this beta is. We'll leave that default as disabled, and we're going to change it to DirectX again. So let's do, okay, we're going to do all things left, and now all things right. So performance, DirectX, and all the way at the bottom is DirectX as well too. So then we're just going to hit save and restart. And let's see what happens here. Does the floor disappear, or does the floor still show because the RAM was 4? Alright, so let's change this up to this one, and we're gonna click on here. I'm thinking it's alright, so we are still at the 2 and 2, but we just changed all of the graphics, I guess, encoder or decoder to DirectX, and that is the only difference from OpenGL. It's just flipping it to DirectX, and we'll see what happens. We're going to go right into our worm, and then we're going to go into the Equinus as well too. Let's go into that, hit the start, let's begin, and we'll see what happens. If my theory works out in my head, we should be okay. Yes, no, maybe so. There you go. Check that out. This is what I was referring to before. This is crazy. So, no floors, like no mapping on the floor. You'll have these bump maps or these noises or whatever it is that you want to call it, but the entire map of the floor is just gone. And so yeah, that is what we are talking about where it causes this issue. So DirectX, let's abandon it. Abandon it. So DirectX for BlueStacks. Okay, so let's go change up the view to display. And you know what? Let's go out of here real quick. Let's check out Equinus and see if DirectX crashes it or not. Because it could just be a RAM issue, because we didn't change the RAM, we kept it at 2. So 2 could be the loading in itself. That may cause like what is it? Like those loading crashes. So I would say. So keeping it at 2 seems to keep the loading crash at bay. But again, this map is just like the Minotaur. It's kind of, I don't know. This type of terrain, I don't really see an issue with it. So let me go back out and see if I could hit up the other one, that lizard one. So that is on our chapter 9. Let's go to here, go to our battle, our conquest for Jungle of the Deep. Okay, yippity yappity yap, yip yip yap yap yap. Okay, alright, come on, let's go. Okay, conquest. So we were doing what? All of them take place in the same one. Let's go to here. Venomous Killer Bee. Alright, Venomous Killer Bee. Let's take a look at the map. There you go. Okay, so it's DirectX loading seems to be 2 megs of RAM. So that could be the solution here. We may have found a fix for this no map. So let's abandon the battle. So far we have not crashed. We were able to get into Equinus just fine with 2 and 2. And let's go back out to the home. Alright, I'm going to switch the view again. We go into Yeah, I guess no. Okay, yeah. So go back to here. We're gonna close it off. Then we're gonna go into our settings. I think you guys can still see this. Yeah. All right. So we're at 2 and 2. Now we're gonna test the 4 and 4, which is high, and that's the max for BlueStacks5. LD Player, you could go up to 8 and 8. So we're gonna use. Hold on a second. We're gonna do a 4 and 4. Save, restart, and this is now 4 and 4 with DirectX. So I don't know which DirectX. It could be the first, second, or third issue. Who's to say? But let's go back into it when we get into the game. All right, so we're back at the title screen. I'm not sure if the last one recorded or not. Okay, so I got like a little buzzing error. So okay, let's click on here. So again, this setting is 4 cores, 2 megs of RAM, and everything is OpenGL. So the 4 and 4, definitely the 4 megs of RAM just kind of killed it. So we're just going to go back to the Avid Worm just to make sure that that map has some map. So let's go ahead and check that out. This is a super long troubleshooting video, but I appreciate that you guys are like, at least curious about it, having the same issues, and sharing what you found. So I'm hopeful that by me sharing what I found will help somebody, or perhaps give further insight into why things crash with these emulators. So look at that. 2 megs of RAM seems to be the sweet spot for loading up the map. I have no idea. So more, not the merrier, I suppose. Less is more in this case. And that's the bare bone minimum is 2 for this game. Do you know that like you need 2 minimum? Maybe they made it into like you need 2 period. So anything more it won't take. So I don't know, perhaps that's what they did, as 2 is the fix min max. So it doesn't use any more, it doesn't use any less. Let's go into the Equinus. So the only difference in this variable, well 2, is that it is DirectX to OpenGL, and also 4 cores, but still 2 megs of RAM. So 2 megs? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Alright. Okali Adokali. Let's see. What do we get here? Loads up. The map I still see. But the map was never an issue with these type of deals, so I think that is just fine over here. So map wise is okay. So it loaded up just fine. So we're gonna abandon the battle, and then we're gonna check out chapter 9. So chapter 9, and those guys had some map issues, as you recall. So that is a known funky map area in our conquest. And we're just gonna pick any one of them. They're all in the same map essentially for chapter 9. So let's take a look. Do we see floors? We do see floors. Alright, check this out. So 4 cores, runs a little bit smoother than 2. Less of the stuttering, the micro stutter. So I think it's this may be it. So get rid of your DirectX, OpenGL for everything, and switch it down to like 2, and I think you should be good. So that's it. I think we figured it out. We were able to get to Equinus. I really wish I had Arena to show you, because that's always a crash, very similar to Equinus, along with Guild War. So yeah, I hope that helped. That is a long troubleshooting, at least fix, that I found for both BlueStacks and LD Player. So thank you very much for pointing this out and sharing your experience. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, so let's go back to here. So again, thank you for bringing it up, sharing what you found, and you totally paved the way into me thinking a little bit differently on what the issue is. So I appreciate everybody's help, good, bad, whatever it is. Just throw up ideas, and I will definitely look into it. So that is it for this video. I don't think I'm gonna put an intro in here. Maybe I will. Anyways, I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy, and peace.